ーム、壁の中の囁きやるよ。後編。はいどうも、壁の中の囁きの続きをやっていくわね。あ、気のせいかと思っていたけれどやっぱりうるさかったのね。
Unfortunately for Albrecht's cherished POM 2, not as future-proof as the label claimed. Alas. The Murmur. They're attacking the sensory network I installed. Our eyes and ears. To arms, Tenno! Play the warrior, and leave the tactics to me. Construct, I'm awake. Your one responsibility is fulfilled. Be with the family. They must be kept in the state of ignorance to which my Albrecht so wisely consigned them.
But Yes, I see. Until we meet again, Tenno.
あ、ちゃんと使うのね。使うのはいいけれど、火力大丈夫かしら？お、ランク30の状態でもらえるのね。クエスト武器だからちゃんと芋も刺さっているわね。ということでランク30だったのでフォーマを刺してから適当にビルドを組んだわ。クエストで使わせる武器だし、敵の弱点が電気だと信じて電気を伸ばしておくわ。
I'd crawl away and shoot him too, if I'd done what Lloyd did. Doesn't that grimoire feel a little... light?
The Murmur presumes to destroy our auditory and visual senses. In all the time I have been asleep, they have never once been so bold. Ignore the caveat, Tenno. If Albrecht ever understood their babble, he never bothered to share that knowledge with me. Here they come! After all those years of creepy, silent encroachment, something has changed them. Stirred them up. The necromegs never could be compelled to attack the Murmur. Albrecht suspected they could no longer distinguish between the indifferents and himself. A theory he was reluctant to confirm. There is a defense system of sorts. Gather enough of the floating Warframe glyphs, and they should reinvigorate the organs you're here to protect. A fallback system, in case. A promised operator never showed.
で、これは最初何のミッションなのかわからなかったけれど、まさかのミラー防衛だったわ。うわ、めんどくさ。ただ火星のミラー防衛よりはゴミ拾いがやりやすく感じたので、あっちよりはマシね。
Get to the victory! Look at them. The indifference. He could have given lessons in indifference. Albrecht once thought the Cavia should have been destroyed. Failures all. But he briefly showed reluctance. And I saw no reason to punish them for his negligence. I saw off Granum's thoughts. I beat back the infested. And by the void I shall see the end of these monstrosities.
あら、ロイドってもしかしてそこそこ戦えるのかな？
Dust yourself down, then. We are still alive. Rejoin me, and the Kalimo's sequence may proceed.
ゴミ拾いはまだやりやすかったけれど、相変わらず時間がかかるわね。
You're right, Fish. Lloyd could never figure things out. We have nothing to worry about.
背中伸びて気持ちよさそうね。
If the Cavia have been babbling our secrets to the Murmur, I shall immolate the lot of them. Promise or no promise? It seems Albrecht said more than we heard. Despite the signal becoming corrupted, his words to you are preserved in the transference buffer. We should extract them. But for that, the POM 2 requires a replacement board. And those are all hidden away in the Netracells. You do understand that accessing a Netracell without a key glyph is completely impossible?
あ、正式な名前はネットセルなのね。よかったわ。マラデトロン、グッポーイ、それをよこしなさい。
A key glyph? So, The Carvia have provided the very item we require. Very well. Proceed to the Netrocell at your own risk, Tenno. That babbling oddity may be sending you into a trap, and if you do end up in one, I'm afraid you are on your own.
で、ネットセルはデメリットを背負った状態で行うゲームモードらしいわね。
Each type will impede you in its own way.
あら、なんかいるわ。
Look at these things lying around, abandoned. With you, Lloyd.
You are his demon, not mine. I won't listen. My apologies, Tenno. I shall refrain from further outbursts.
急に落ち着いてくさ。で、ネットセルでは最初に3つのターミナルを起動して位置を特定するみたいね。任意と書かれているし、自力で見つけられるならこのハッキングはしなくてもいいのかな。まあ、初回だし素直にターミナルを回るわ。これでネットセルの場所が特定できたみたいね。
There, a Netrocell. Albrecht has stored all manner of sentimental old junk in these. Insert the keycliff.
じゃあ使うわよ。
The Netrocell's security apparatus is diligent. That door won't open while it can sense the murmur nearby. So eliminate them.
セキュリティを突破するために敵を殲滅。わかりやすいわね。
Necromites. The lab's automated systems are trying to lock down the Netrocell. Your only option is to destroy them.
で、こいつが妨害してくるから破壊しろと。
Cold stone. Sardonic aloofness. I was a fool not to see the resemblance before.
セキュリティを突破したので進めるわ。
You should have left well enough alone, kiddo. It'll never get better if you keep on picking at it.
で、探していたものがこれね。なんかパソコンのパーツみたいな見た目をしているわね。さて、拾うわよ。
Excellent. Return to me with the board, Tenno.
あら、見覚えのないアイテムがあるわね。
Thank you. A moment, please. Would you do the honors?
Arthur? Tenno. Forgive me. I need Lloyd to understand why I had to leave. Without him. Why I forced him to destroy the device after I had gone. And why I could never say the words he so needed to hear. If I had remained in the Deimos laboratory, Lloyd would never have been safe from him. You know of what I speak. And so I retreated to the only place in history where that entity could not easily follow, to draw his greedy eye away from Lloyd. Tenno, I require your trust. Craft the little curio whose blueprints you will find in the computer's memory. Complete the Kalimos sequence. Repair. Rebuild. When the time is right, find me.
ロイドを壁の中のものから守るために、あいつでも簡単に来れない場所である1999年に逃げたという感じだったのね。
If something mattered, he'd have found a way. It's too late. You heard him, Tenno. He requires your trust. So craft the bloody thing.
あら、なんか変なものをもらったわ。まあいいわ、さっさと作りましょうか。
Talk, kiddo. You don't want to be late again, do you?
そこ座っていると危なくないの？作るものって何かしら？素材はさっき手に入っていたやつなのね。制作時間が12時間とかだったらどうしようかと思ったけれど、大丈夫そうね。というかこれ即時制作0プラチナじゃない。だったらさっさと完成させるわよ。
The Jahu Gargoyle. Bring it back here and we shall examine what form will do to help us.
そこに置けばいいのかしら？なんだか奇妙な生き物の石像ね。
Albrecht may have told you to build that thing, but given how he used people and threw them away, he may not have cared for your safety. If that gargoyle is a threat, you must take it from the sanctum immediately. Now, activate it.
あれ、危険物の可能性もあるの。まあ、爆発落ちになってもシルゲで耐えるから大丈夫よ。
At last! If ignorance is bliss, then you, Tenno, must be ecstatic. Come on then, bring it closer. Wakey, wakey.
Where did that come from? Identify yourself!
Please, Lloyd, let them figure it out. Here, in the jar. What? The fish with the big brain? Yes, the fish with the big brain! Can we please finally get this interminable process over with?
Albrecht used you to give the Cavia a voice, just as he used me to keep them alive. Such a resourceful man.
相変わらず翻訳すごいわね。
So, here we are then. The best of what's left. Clearly, Papa's plan was countered. Color me surprised. Right then, we may proceed with the sequence.
You animals have observed us all this time, have you not? You've given yourself a role in the sequence?
Indeed we have. Come, Lloyd. It's named after Papa's favorite pet. Spare the rod and spoiled. We know the fragmented ones are heralds of the indifference. We know the chosen operator must summon and destroy them. And regrettably, you, Lloyd, have made this impossible.
Choose your words carefully, fish.
Tenno, the grimoire is incomplete. The final page hidden away by Lloyd. Be a darling and retrieve it. That's all. Run it on.
So be it. The gift of decency was clearly not bestowed upon the Cavia, Tenno. But I cannot deny the page's current status is lost.
Talk! Talk! I can talk! Hey! Hey! Oh, Mr. Lloyd! Mr. Lloyd! Where is Papa? Why did Papa leave us? Mr. Lloyd!
Papa is gone.
アンブラパパならいるわよ。
In an instant, like, we have to keep quiet.
Okay.
こいつら喋りそうだなとは思っていたけれど、やっぱりね。
Allow me to boil this down for you. Should the indifference's corrupting touch reach us and take back our speech, we would be screwed. So, Maria, love, and eradicate the murmur in this patch before the big bad gets word that Lloyd's awake and the fish is talking.
Tenno, there is some truth to what the fish says. That page was the last thing my Albrecht ever wrote. Meant for me. Since I had no interest in reading his endless self-justifications, I hid it away instead. But with all this chaos, it's undetectable.
As long as the indifference is missing a digit, it is confined to the strands of Kra. Don't ask, your tiny mind would likely pop under the strain of understanding. This limitation is our one hope.
Do not patronize the Tenno fish. The strands of Kra are merely void renderings of the chains of cause and effect. Conceptually embodied timelines, if you will.
Papa's daughter excelled at explaining complicated concepts in childish terms. I see now where she learned it.
あれで子供に向けてわかりやすくなってるのね。
新たな対戦の授業のことだな。
Arousing as I'm sure this is, the rest of us are moments away from an extinction grim, black, and final. So, if you would be so kind, finish up so I can point you toward that sodding page.
その気になればクローンでいくらでも増やせそうだから大丈夫だって。
Ah, no. It was a long walk towards competence, but here you are. Now, please, the page.
マーカーだとこの辺りね。
How about you give me the page instead, kiddo? Consider it part of our deal.
あんた今回はやたらと出てくるわね。で、ページの回収ね。
There. It's done. Keep it to yourself, Tenno. I'm damned if I'm giving Albrecht the last word.
あんたたたりとか信じるのね。
Tenno,
Phil hand raps upon the untimed door, and sans grimoire, we are undone. We've been rumbled.
なんだか大変そうだし、さっさと帰った方が良さそうね。ただ不安なのが、力の期間ってボイド技術に見えるし、壁の中のものから干渉されたりしないのかしら？あ、やっぱり。
Tenno, are you there? Oh, thank Ford. Listen, the murmur diverted your extraction jump. We need you back at the sanctum now. Hurry!
やはり一番信頼できるのは己の足ということね。はい、徒歩で帰ってきたわ。徒歩。
Takes and it takes. It took my future. It's taking the labs inch by inch. Well, I won't let it take his bloody Corvia.
ロイド、エントラティモデルっぽい感じの財力持ってるわね。見た目なかなか好きよ。
The sodding indifference seeks a path through the walls, and then Tenno, through you. Keep it at bay.
地味に敵が多いからもっと範囲攻撃のできる手段が欲しいわ。お、カリバー一番これ狙わなくていいから楽ね。意外とダメージも通っているしね。ひとまずこれでオッケーね。レクイエム語は意味がわからないわ。
The strand holds. The indifference approaches. Soon, it will take on mass.
カリバー一番とか久々に攻撃で使ったけど、結構便利ね。お、やっとちゃんとしたボスの登場ね。
Tenno! The grimoire must speak with its own voice.
魔導書に喋らせるって、これを敵の口にでも突っ込めばいいの？
そんな状況だよ。
攻撃してダメな場合のギミックの基本は周囲の探索ね。あ、マーカーが表示されていたのね。魔導書をガーゴイルに接続？ロイドが頑張ってるんで急いであげて。
You gave me back my sight, but I would not spare you a glance. You gave me back my voice, but I never spoke to praise you as I should have. For you were my right hand, my strength, my support, my sanctuary. Even when the galleries hurled scorn upon me, your sole desire was to suffer it in my stead.
ロイドが一人で奮闘している。急いで加勢しなくちゃ。でもその財力っぽいのモーションいいわね。もうちょっと観察していいかしら？
さっさと戦え。
もう、やりますよで、こいつはどうやって戦えばいいのかしら？シェズの通りは悪いわね。それならカリバー4番でゴリ押してみましょうか。こっちはいい感じにダメージが出るわね。これでまずは1段階。で、もう一度魔導書を使うみたいね。
On your first day of service, you aspired to be worthy of me. I only wish that I could have been worthy of you, my lord.
倒しちゃった。まだセリフが続いていたらドンマイ。パパまた剥がされてるわ。フレームが使えない窮地、オペの視線の先にあるのは、
転移の音。
化け物には化け物をぶつける理論ね。ここでまさかの QTE？ 長押し、これ、連打したら早く終わったりしませんかね？ダメそうだったので素直に長押しします。
殴れんじゃないのか。
おはようパパ元気？
This stillness. Tenno. No. Operator.
認めてくれたわ。
The strand of claw has been cut, while the indifference remains undeterred. I foresee a grim and continuing struggle to safeguard Papa's laboratory from its fell and ruinous grasp.
Indeed. I shall not waver. Protect the vessels. Repair. Rebuild. So runs the Kalimo sequence. And such is our task. In the version of the past we saw, my Albrecht said we were too late. The solution, naturally, is to arrive on time next time. You keep the murmur at bay, I shall fulfill my role. Punctuality. The Entrati family never could arrive on time without my help. And so, here I am, back to my old role, the diligent servant. Albrecht would have smiled at that, I think.
ウォーフレーム1999への期待が高まるわ。おお、あそこの囁きを尋ねるのね。
He said,
あ、ここで白黒選択ね。じゃあ、上のやつにするわ。
"Not let it see you weeping, Lloyd."
We had a deal. The deal was shook. A little handshake, all it took. Though from the deal, the wee child ran.
Yet still, we end as we began.
ということでクエストクリアね。壁の中のものから逃げるために、1999年に移動したアルブレヒトというのがなかなか印象に残るわね。そして壁の中のものが本格的に動き始めたわね。ここから先のストーリーも楽しみだわ。
You've met the animals? The catastrophe Albrecht saddled me with? Well, any ideas? Their roles were intended to be filled by qualified personnel. People! Instead, we have this. It's bad comedy. They're imprinted with whatever information they need to function, and an understanding of our current state of affairs, including Albrecht's absence. They were sent into the void using a bell of the same design that Albrecht initially used. The void got in, somehow. Again. One of the animals was lost, and the rest came back like that. We placed them in stasis, pending a proper examination. For them, the disaster, intelligence, and selfhood all occurred only hours ago. They're psychological shrapnel, and they're all we've got. See what you can do with them. I simply do not have the time.
あの動物ちゃんとした NPC 枠なのね。アルケイン分解。これ気になるわ。これがアルケインのレリックパックみたいなやつよね。おお、ちゃんとブビリのアルケインも含まれているわ。これで面倒くさいブビリを周回しなくて済むかしら？で、リソースとしてアルケインをここで分解するみたいね。お、アコライトのアルケインもちゃんとコストにできるわね。それなら早速砕くわよ。それじゃあ試しでブビリのアルケインを開けてみるわ。おお、アルケインは3つ出てくるのね。てっきり1つだけかと思っていたから、思ったより良さそうね。ただ、この後も何度か回してみたけれど、レジェンダリに相当するアルケインは出現率が結構低そうね。だとしてもありがたいわ。といった感じで今回はおしまいよ。では、ご視聴ありがとうございました。バイバイ。
バイバイバイバイ。
Take long to dissolve.